Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Just Plain Living. I'm John Gray, and this is Music Week for the world in the state of Tennessee.
Bonnaroo,
Yeah, it is.
CMA, everything's going on. Oh, I'm Peggy Burton.
Yes, you are.
Oh, yeah, and I'm Jim Fuller.
And yes, you are. And a good Jim Fuller, a good version of Jim Fuller you are.
So you're commending us because we got that right, and you know that's our first big hurdle today.
First big hurdle is to remember your name.
Remember your name, yes.
Next thing is what day is it?
Right. Now that would be more
That's a good
challenging,
one,
but it
Bill.
is the 5th.
No, it's Tuesday. I didn't ask you for the date. I said what day is
what
it?
day is it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
See, Peggy, you failed.
I failed my test.
You didn't fail. There's no way you could fail. You had country for the 39th year auditions this past weekend.
We surely did, and we have some great talent. We do. We have a lot of talent, and I think it's going to be a good show.
Good girl.
I've got some good help this year, so we're starting to work on putting it all together.
And
you're doing chicken and dumplings,
chicken
right?
and dumplings. If my wife will learn the song, and if we can sing together.
There is a song?
Huh?
He wrote it. It's called Chicken and Dumplings.
Yeah, okay.
We had a lot
I
of
look forward to
songwriters
that.
this year, which is good, and because we're going to emphasize that somewhat for people that are, writing their own stuff.
sure.
That's such a great talent, I think.
That's one I sent to Garth Brooks, Chicken and Dumplings, because it's a duet, and it's about, and because of her cooking show.
Which is
She
a cute
has
idea.
a big cooking show. Well, I thought I had an address, but I got another return to sender from Garth. I've got about 3 of those.
Yeah.
I keep the envelopes in a file. All the folks I've been rejected by.
Yeah, your rejection
A
file.
lot of times they won't even read those, will they?
Well, what happened is my friend Keith Bailey, who's in the fiber business, is working for a company that runs fiber, big fiber, and they were running down this road, and there was this big estate over here, and they weren't selling anything, which is all upgrade stuff that to the properties that already had their stuff, and he couldn't get in this gate to talk to anybody, and the guy across the street comes over and says, well, you'll never get in that gate. Said that's owned by a pretty famous person, and he has a property manager. So Keith got the property manager's name and met him, and there was a back entrance where everybody comes
So
in.
he got the back entrance, was able to get in. Is that it?
Yeah, well, because they wanted the cable the fiber upgrades and stuff.
Well, let me ask you: if you were Garth Brooks, would you open every email or every little note you got?
No.
Of course not. Somebody else is doing that.
Yeah.
No,
Somebody else is screening
well,
everything
everything
you
that
have.
comes to the front mailbox goes in the garbage, because nothing that comes there is anything. Everybody knows to send stuff to the back mailbox. So I got the back mailbox.
All right.
address.
Fantastic.
And Keith talked to the manager and told him, property manager, and told him I was going to send this thing. Thank you, Keith, by the way. And but in the thing I wrote, listen, I don't want in any way would I put your relationship with Garth and Tricia in jeopardy by doing this. If you feel like you don't want to do it, just throw it away. And so I'm sure that's what he did.
Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe not.
it came back.
You gotta have a little, okay.
It came back, and I don't blame somebody like that because that's. But that's how that stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who was it?
It's hard to get your foot in
landed
the
a
door.
helicopter
Yeah.
on Johnny Cash's or Conway Twitty's backyard.
I don't remember who did that.
Well, who wrote for the Good Times? Chris Christopherson.
Oh,
He was a helicopter pilot in the military.
And that's how he.
And so he went and got a helicopter and landed on the backyard of either Twitty City or Johnny Cash's house and walked up on the porch while they were eating breakfast and said, "I want you to listen to this song."
And he's lucky he didn't get shot.
Well, but he was Chris Christopherson too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's the way
they
you get
knew
to
who
some
he
of that
was.
stuff because you'll never get past the bulldog at the door. Because if you go to those publishing companies, they've got an intern there. It's probably 16, 18, 20 years old. And it goes in a toilet paper box about that big, and you can hear it clank when it hits the other 500. Back in that day, it was cassette.
It's a real challenge in this day and time to get to that level you want to get to.
Well, yeah, and particularly for somebody like me who's in Tullahoma and not really part of the biz up there, because there's publishing companies who have stables of writers that are cranking that stuff out, and if something's going to
You've
be
actually
cut,
done that, haven't you? Didn't you work for a publishing company one time?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never was to the point there because I was still having to make a living here. But those guys who were up there all the time, you know, the whoever's there walk in and say, hey, Jim Fuller needs a song, and it needs to be like Mo Bandy's song that came out last
it's
week,
gotta be
the
some
Bro
kind-
Country.
yeah.
Got to have that exact beat to where it's drive time radio. Those guys sit there and crank those things out all day long.
A lot of musicians these days, though, are opening their own company and producing their own stuff and getting it out there on Facebook and social media, and sometimes they're, you know, making some impact, I think.
Well, they're not making any money.
Well, I know.
That's the deal.
I don't really know. I'm not doing it,
Well,
so.
I mean, I've got a song that I wrote with Tim Daly and Joe Schmidt, Buck on the Wall. It's had almost 2 million plays on Facebook. I ain't made a penny.
That's great, though.
Facebook
I mean,
doesn't
think
pay
about
that.
that.
It's great, but
But it's not paying your
it's
bills.
not. Facebook gets a
Sing
lot
a line.
of view off of it.
A buck on the wall. I
Buck on
remember
the wall.
hearing it
There's
at
a
one
buck on
point.
the wall in a frame by the door. It tells me the dollar's what I'm fighting for. If I can have a fancy car, get a bigger home, and maybe if I get enough, I can keep up with the Jones.
All right.
There's a buck on the wall over my TV, a trophy from a hunting trip my daddy took with me. Taught me how to shoot and how to climb a tree. A simple time, just his and mine. Perfect memory.
That's interesting. I mean, really.
So it's
Yeah.
about the difference between the bucks on the wall. When I take my last breath and the good Lord comes to call, I'll take what my daddy taught me where money's worth nothing at all.
Yeah, and you still got your buck on the wall, right?
Because you got the memory.
Yeah.
All the money in the bank.
Cannot buy
You can't buy, you
memory.
know.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I finally see all the money in the bank can't buy that memory. So, you know, it's
I think
what do
the
you want?
Bonnaroovians are moving in this right now, aren't they? As we speak?
I imagine they
I'm
are.
sure
A lot
they're
of them.
beginning to converge
I've
in
seen that
Manchester.
a lot of them are already there in
Yeah.
Manchester. So
We went to meet some cousins at the Cracker Barrel the other day, Sunday. No, it was Saturday evening, 5 o'clock, which you would think,
In the evening?
yeah, you would be able to get in there. We were in there, that place was packed. They were out of cornbread
Oh, wow.
at the Cracker Barrel,
oh my goodness.
out of chicken. And there were people lined up. I mean, there was probably, I don't know, 500 people in there.
Honestly, I'm not sure
Unreal.
how that area is able to, you know, take care of all the people that are coming in.
I think they do
When
a
you
pretty
think
good
of
job with it
restaurants and
now.
everything.
Well, it's a couple of
It's a-
days because most of the time, once they get out on site, like Thursday, Friday,
Yeah, they're
Saturday, and
buying
Sunday,
over
they're
there.
eating out there.
Yeah.
Do you think they're expecting as many as they had last year, the year before,
I don't know. Jeff Cuellar is supposed to come on today,
to talk
just
about
with
it?
Bonnaroo, and talk
Good.
about that. He's the media guy that's been with us numerous times.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know whether, I hope he might have had an emergency that will keep him from coming, but he told, He's coming.
The weather's looking good. I think
Weather's
the
gonna be
weather's
great.
looking good for it. Not even quite as hot as it has been in the past, so that's
Yeah,
a good.
that's going to be
good
a nice
thing.
week, I think. So.
And the weather ended up being good for the Fine Arts Fair.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
It's supposed to rain both days, and didn't rain. It might have sprinkled a little
Yeah,
bit, but the weather
it went
was good
well.
for
I
that.
thought it was well done.
Very good. Very good.
I
Winston
hope it'll
Brooks and the
continue.
Arts Center in South Jackson, all you people involved, the Arts Council, job well done.
Really, it was.
And it'll be bigger next year because it was a good thing.
And it helped being there in our fine new parking lot.
Oh yeah,
I
great
love
deal.
that parking lot. It really is nice.
Well, that's really changed that place down
It's
there.
changed.
hasn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's changed the look of Tullahoma. You don't feel like you're just driving into a podunk town anymore.
Right.
No.
It's nice to have out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, particularly when somebody comes over the viaduct, that's what you see.
Yeah.
yeah.
When you first pull into town from that area, that's what you see is that over there. And
It's
when
quite impressive.
lit up at night, and there's in a turnaround, there's hopefully they're working on a sculpture that's going to go there that will be representative of what's happening inside. I don't know who's going to.
Has that been commissioned yet?
I have no idea. Well, I don't think there's been a design.
Well, I hope it's, some great.
I know what I'd like. I know what
Sculptor
I'd
is-
like for it to be, but that's.
What would you like?
I'd like for it to be almost like
Have a statue of you out there.
No, I'd like for it to be almost like something that's flowering, that comes out of some type of base down there that comes up, and one bloom would be a mask of the smile, and the other bloom on the other side be the frown, and music notes, and maybe an instrument, and the blooms on that tree or on that flower would represent everything that happens inside.
And then I think that might get to be a little bit busy.
Well,
That's just my
that
opinion.
statue of
Yeah,
me there.
I'm a minimalist.
Well, I know you are. I know you are. But you know, I think there need, although it's lit up, I still think there needs to be motion there.
Yeah, something there would be nice.
That shows motion.
Like I love the dancer in front of the art center.
Yeah.
Isn't that a dancer?
Yeah. Well, it's a little girl
It's
with
a little girl.
cotton dress.
She looks like she's in
She's strolling down a street.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's nice. I love Jack Daniel's statue in Lynchburg. Or is it Jack Daniel sitting there, or is it maybe just a man sitting there?
No, I
It's
think it is
It's
Jack
a
Daniel.
bronze.
Well, Russ Faxon down in Bell Buckle does all of
Yeah.
those, and at the Grand Ole Opry, he's got Minnie Pearl and Roy Acuff sitting on a bench. No, Russ is incredible. He's phenomenal.
Who decides what kind of design would go there?
Well, I
Does
guess the
anybody
board
know?
of directors, the membership of South Jackson Civic Center designs it.
Used to, it was one of the Motlows, I think, decided that.
Oh.
Yeah, but now, not now, because.
At South Jackson?
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about Jack Daniel. Go ahead.
Oh, well,
I wish the Motlows would give enough money over there to be able to make that decision.
I just hope it's classy. You know,
It will be.
I hope it'll be very classy.
It will be.
Well,
Here we go.
So
We're getting
here
ready
we
to go.
go.
Yeah.
It's-
Hey, we had a new, and we'll show this a little bit later on. But we had a new sponsor on Tennessee Traveler last night, the Yellow Porch on Thompson Lane in Nashville, and I want to show their video and explain a little bit about why I got them to come on our Tennessee
that's
Traveler
fabulous.
show.
That is really fabulous.
And well, I'll explain about that in a little bit. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back.
5 dealerships, 7 car brands, 1 big clearance sale.
Russell Barnett must make room for incoming summer shipments.
Save hundreds,
Even thousands.
from original list on all new and over 800 pre-owned vehicles. Every vehicle is marked down for immediate clearance.
No reasonable offer refused.
All credit applications will be accepted for immediate delivery.
Don't miss the big spring clearance sales event going on right now at the Russell Barnett dealerships, both Tullahoma and Winchester. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do is think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about music in the state of Tennessee a minute ago and how the CMA Fest is going on in Nashville and Bonnaroo is going on in Manchester. And we have Jeff Cuellar with us today, and he is one of the members of the support staff and the management staff at Bonnaroo, who's been coming to us for how many years now?
Oh, God, I've been with the festival since the inception, but I think I've been coming on the show maybe 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And he's the one who lets us know what's happening out at Bonnaroo and how things are going. And we just want to say from us here in Tullahoma and our television network, we want to thank you for the years that you've devoted to our community and our area, and the great things that you do and help accomplish around here, from allowing the nonprofits and some of the other people around here to work with you and work for you, and the support that you give our community is absolutely magnificent. And of course, the economic impact for this whole area.
It doesn't hurt, does it?
So, great guy, and appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
What you got on your mind today? Is there some new stuff happening? Give us a little update on how everything's going and things are operating. And
Well, first I'll say thank you for the kind words. It's always been our mission to provide a positive, lasting impact in any community in which we produce an event, and this is our community. I mean, it's our property, it's where we live, work, and play as well. So we just feel it's our part of our social responsibility to give back in that way. But thank you for the kind words. It means a lot. Tricks up our sleeve this year. We've always got some. I mean, we wouldn't be Bonnaroo if we didn't.
Of course not.
This year we've done a lot of focus on what we're calling the plazas. The plazas in the past have been called the pods, and really been more of an informational center, security out in the campgrounds. But once we had RFID technology as part of our tickets to get into the festival, we started to see patterns of where people were at times, and recognized that there's a lot of people in our campgrounds at any one given time. So in true Bonnaruvian fashion, and trying to foster that internal community of just like-minded individuals that are there to experience a festival of that nature, and the fact that we're the largest camping festival in North America.
Yes.
And it's one of our key differentiators from all of the other competition that's going on around us, the fact that we do have this large community camping area, is we've created these plazas to be community meeting spaces that we've looped in artists, and I'm using that term broadly, from musicians to street artists to film producers to poets to chefs, you name it, so artists within their own craft, and they have taken over these plazas to create their own space and creative vision. So Matt Schultz from Cage the Elephant, he is doing one of our plazas, and it's based on Happy Roo Day. I don't know what's inside of his creative mind, but it will be fun. Tim Love, the amazing chef, is going to be out at one of our plazas doing grilling sessions, teaching people how to grill a burger. What else do we have going on? The NCVC from Nashville. So we partnered with Nashville to kind of pay homage to old Nashville, celebrate where it's at in the future. So working with WSM, WRLT, and the Ville radio stations, we're having some fun out there. Princess Fried Chicken's going to be out there at Project 615. So just kind of bringing a whole little experience to this area. What else? House of Yes, Little Cinema are doing a space. So essentially, get out and explore the campgrounds, because there are some amazing things going on out there. Should be a lot of fun. I mean, not to say that you shouldn't go see the Killers and Muse and everything that we've got on our stages, bringing back the Oasis for that beach experience and stuff along those lines. But venture out, kind of go off that path and take a trip to the campgrounds and see what we've got cooking out there.
Well, and that's kind of amazing. I'm a TV guy because I'm in the TV business, and so I watch a lot of stuff, and it amazes me how extreme food or Face Off, where these people are creating monsters that go in movies, and there's so many specialty artists out there who we don't realize what it takes to create what we see there on that television screen. We're just in awe of all the superheroes, but what goes on? Look at the credits. And look at what goes on behind the scenes for those characters to exist. And you're bringing everything from chefs to artists to cinematography to stuff into the campgrounds. Do I get this right?
That's correct.
To have not maybe a stage, but a small area where you don't even have to leave your tent or that area to go find something wonderful and a great experience at Bonnaroo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is phenomenal, man.
We try.
Well, I know you try. Speaking of chefs and Bonnaroo, my wife took her 83-year-old mother, who went to Bonnaroo last year with my sister-in-law.
Love it.
to Manchester. She's from Manchester. And the
Okay.
other day they went up there and they were going to a meeting. So they go to the Jiffy Burger to eat, and my mother-in-law, Dot, orders a Bonnaroo burger. And this thing is this big.
Big.
She's skinny as a pencil, but she eats well. And she attacked the Bonnaroo burger and onion rings. Now, if you've been to the Jiffy,
Tots, the tater tots.
well, I think she got onion rings.
There's an onion ring on the burger.
Yeah, but okay.
She got more onion rings?
I don't know. I wasn't there. But if you've eaten at the Jiffy Burger, you order tots or onion rings, they bring you a plate full of fries.
They really do.
That big. So there's Dot, my mother-in-law, and I asked my wife, Fran, I said, did she eat all of that? She said she ate 2/3 of it and took the other third home for breakfast.
That's still impressive.
That's a huge burger.
It's not small.
And the day that you premiered that, we were over there and videoed.
I remember that. Yeah.
You and Hannah, Phillip, our producer's daughter, and some other ones eating the first Bonnaroo burger. This big. It's
a good
and
value.
Dot Couch, you did it, girl. I'm proud of you. So that goes to show you, she and some of her friends, Mary Niederhauser, who used to live in Manchester and has
Bonner
passed
grannies.
away.
Yep.
They were some of the grannies that would show up over there. And I asked her yesterday in the car, I said, are you going to go this year? And she said, somebody will take me, I will.
We got to see them out
Isn't that
there.
great?
They've become an institution at the festival.
So,
fans love seeing that they get out, and it's unfortunate of Mary's passing, but I know we still have 3 going strong.
Right. Excuse me. And one of the things I do is I'll go out to the airport and film the Jets of Bonnaroo.
Oh, at the Tullahoma Airport?
Yeah. Because that's another great economic impact on our town, because they'll sell as much fuel there in 4 days as they sell in 3 months sometimes.
Right.
And plus it's cool just to watch how they come in and how the different ones operate and all of that. And so, what y'all do is just magnificent. It's magnificent. Are there any new infrastructure plans?
We did put in new barns this year, so some new barns that are kind of our plaza concept that will also, act as storage when the festival's not going on. Outside of that, I would say there are things that most fans aren't going to pay attention to, like new roads or ways to traverse around, things that make production.
Maybe more water.
That's always something we're looking at.
An
some
issue.
more hand washing stations and things along those lines. But anything that we can do to kind of help that fan experience, we're always looking for ways to improve that. But with all the rain we've had, grass looks fantastic out there. It's nice and plush. It's really green. It's been great for the dust suppression, and we're shaping up to be a really good year.
You excited?
I'm really excited. Every year I'm excited. It's always a lot of hard work to get down to this space, but now that snowball is rolling down the hill and there's no stopping it. So it's best just to get on and take the ride.
Very good. I write. And I write these little things, and they're called Loku. And I wrote this the other day, and now I know why I wrote it, because you're here. And this is about Andrew, who works back in the back with us. I didn't realize it till right now. Goes to Bonnaroo every year. Sometimes we have to send a search party for him after it's over with to find him. And this is Loku 159. Birds feathered in chartreuse, coral, and periwinkle come to me on iridescent gossamer wings, then burst into flames. Like the phoenix, I rise out of the ashes, brand new. So that's Andrew. I'm sure he will see all those colors at Bonnaroo and burst into flames. And we will rise up out of the ashes, brand new. Come back to home base. Jeff, thanks, buddy, for all you do and for all you've done for our area for all these many, many years, and with the professional way that you've done it.
Thank you very much.
Very, very important, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Well, if you're unable to attend the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival this year, there is one good alternative that you can do, and that is come on down to the Tullahoma Arts Center to look at some fine artwork by local artists that were inspired by the annual music festival. Well, I'm here with one of my favorite artists, not just local artists period, and that's Miss Becky Shelton. And Becky, you have a wonderful display here that I've loved a long time, and I have this in my home. I have a version of this. But it has kind of a special meaning to Channel 6 a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it came from you. It's your Bonnaroo trash. Back, I guess 5 years ago, I think, you brought me a bunch of beautiful trash, and I turned it into a piece of artwork. And this is how 10 years of Bonnaroo came about.
And it's what they were referred to as mixed media, I believe. Is that the correct term?
Mixed media. And I got the actual wristbands, and I guess some of them were brochures and news articles mixed with some of my artwork on top of it. So it's just a little bit of everything. And yes, it is a mixed media piece.
Well, you can always find inspiration out of Bonnaroo, that's for sure. And we're lucky to have something like this in this area that inspires artists and gets everything out. I'm just happy that I could help and be any kind of part of this. So I'm very happy that I helped out with you.
You were the I guess the brainchild of bringing home the trash. I just put it on the canvas.
Well, one person's trash is another one's art, right? So yeah. Well, I'm speaking with Tammy O'Connor, who has some beautiful, beautiful work up here right now at the Bonnaroo Festival. What is it about Bonnaroo, and not so much just Bonnaroo, but maybe just music and the festival vibe in general, that really inspires you as an artist?
Oh. Well, I think it's the culture, the attitude of let's just come together and enjoy music. Let's have fun. Let's just enjoy the weekend and just celebrate music and life and just enjoy things.
And it really brings out the creativity, as you can see with a lot of these local artists that we're here at and everything. And again, it sounds cheesy, but that is the spark. I mean, it's all about that creativity, that one little thing that can push you to, hey, I need to create this.
I think, too, for people in my generation, I mean, I can remember seeing VW buses going by with Woodstock or Bust written all over them. It takes us back to a fun time in our youth. And so we're inspired by that, those memories, those feelings, and the music. Oh, my word, the music.
Exactly.
Such great music.
Yeah. So for how long now has stained glass been your passion, your drive? How long have you been?
I've been working in glass for over 30 years. Yeah. And I love it. It's something new all the time for me.
And the piece that we're standing in front of right here is just fantastic, and we're getting a great shot of that right there. Now, are you going to be making it out to this year's Bonnaroo, do you think?
I am not. This year's Bonnaroo it starts on my anniversary, and so I will be out of state.
Well, you know what? Congratulations on that, and we'll give you a pass on this year.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, Tammy, your work is phenomenal and everything. Do you have a website or anything that?
It's vitricvisions.com. Vitric is Latin for glass, so it's glass visions basically, but it's vitricvisions.com.
Well, folks, you have a website to go check out and get some fantastic, fantastic work that Tammy does. And this is running all month, so everybody come down and check out this work here at the Tullahoma Art Center.
Fun exhibit. It's just a hoot.
It is. And I'm speaking with Chandler Cartozo and her beautiful, beautiful son, Joey, who is here with us. Chandler, tell us about your artwork that you're offering up today.
At the Bonnaroo exhibit here at the Tullahoma Art Center, I have some of my wire-wrap jewelry. A lot of the pieces that I have donated here or have on display here are used tie-dye glass beads with copper wire, and they really capture the essence of Bonnaroo, is what I think.
Yes. What about Bonnaroo inspires you in your artwork and your creativity? What do you think is the one, not necessarily one singular thing, but one thing that really sparks the fire?
The vibrant colors and funky eclecticness of Bonnaroo is what I have captured in my work. Most of my work is really colorful and eclectic and really funky, like the pieces you see here.
It is, and it's very impressive. It's very nice. I really enjoy it. How great is it that not only that we have a worldwide phenomenon festival that's here, but how cool is it that here in this town that it gives a place for local artists to showcase what they want to get out to the world? Isn't that a great thing, don't you think?
I think so. I think anytime you can incorporate music and art and community, you have a fabulous trio that can do great things in the world.
Absolutely. And do you have a website or anything that you'd like to plug?
You can find me on Etsy. You can find it at chandlersdesigns.etsy.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for talking with us. And Joey, he's ready for Roo, I can tell already. Thank you for talking with us. I'm speaking with Dan Ogren, who has some beautiful pieces up here. Dan, tell us a little bit and walk our viewers through of some of your work here.
Well, the large images are obviously oversized, but I was asked to display them in that they're murals and colorful for the Bonnaroo crowd. I generally print a large field because this is a math formula based on the type of math that's used to create backgrounds in graphics. As a rule, prior to 1992, everything was pyramids and boxes and stuff. When you saw a cliff, it was all Euclidean geometry, boxes. And then this was implemented. This is the type of mathematics used to do determinations of commodities, weather, traffic, chaotic, random patterns, right? For example, what appears random, this is a math formula. I made an error on this one. Repeat it 100,000 times, which is 19 hours on your computer, but locked up. But folks have mentioned, for example, that it looks like the Batman building. But it's a repeat of what almost looks like broccoli. And what is imaginary is a black field. And this one, for example, is the number I plugged in was square root of -4. Well, what is that? It's not positive. It's not negative. It's 2i. We can't imagine it. But the computer can put a yellowed pixel each time it encounters that value and gives us a two-dimensional. And it seems that stuff in nature may not be quite so random. Even in the movie Frozen, there's a mention in the song "Let It Go," where she's making crystal cathedrals, etc. It's Benoit Mandelbrot, the father of this mathematics, passed before they could they could do anything.
Before he could see it come to fruition. Yeah.
And then there was actually, everyone wants to protect their mathematics, right? He was ostracized for it, but now he's found in the long run now. It makes beautiful art. The real trick is that the color is also formulaic. If you change the shape, you lose your colors.
And that was one thing I was going to say is it's the type of work that you can really get lost in. You can look at it for a few and kind of get lost in it.
Well, these are pretty big too. I mean, I had a friend. My couple of them, friends varnish them to a wall in the room because they are large. Yeah, there's a lot to take in a little bit, and as a rule, I generally don't print. It's hard to even get them in the room without breaking and tearing them up, but for Bonnaroo here, they're great, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I believe it really flows with the vibe. It flows with the feeling of the gallery today and everything. And I know you had to be more than happy to be.
I've never done an art show. This is the first time anyone ever saw a photo or anything of mine, and it was the last weekend. I was in the service for active duty 7 years, and then I retired as sergeant, but I was in Metro Nashville Police for 28, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, well, you're doing something right, that's for sure, Dan, so we can tell you that. So again, come down, folks, and see some of this great artwork by some of these local artists. You will not be disappointed. Dan, thank you so much.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I am speaking with Miss Kay Foote, who has some wonderful pieces here for the Bonnaroo Gallery. And Kay, how are you enjoying today? Are you having a good time?
I'm having a good time today, and I had a wonderful time doing these.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
How I did all these?
I would love to know. Please tell us.
I was told, please, please, please just make one painting. I said, okay, one. I won't do more than one, but I'll do one painting. You know, I'm kind of old to be doing Bonnaroo, but I remember Woodstock, so I...
All right.
But anyway, so I did this one, and it was so much fun. I did this one. It was so much fun. I did that one. And then I did a fourth one, which they're going to auction off, I believe. It's just, it's this, which is a collage and watercolor on top of collage, but it has the lineup for all the years since it started on it.
And the beat goes on.
The beat goes on. Yep.
Now you have taught for quite. How long have you been here at the Art Center? And
Well, I moved to town 7 years ago. So I've been teaching probably the last 3 years. It's just like so much fun. It's kind of like painting these things.
Exactly, and there's something about letting teaching the new children and up and coming that you're hoping you can get that spark going for them.
I did. I had one girl who started at 12 in my adult class. She took 7 of my classes all together, and she is wonderful. She's a great, talented artist.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic, and your work is phenomenal. And again, people, you've got to come down here. You've got to come check it out. It'll be here through June 23rd, so come down and check it out. Kay, thank you so much for talking with us, and we've enjoyed all the work and all the work you've done here in Tullahoma for the Art Center also.
Thank you. Thank you.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day he created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. I have a few 2017s left that have to go right now. Kia Forte, $14,994. Kia Optima, $19,971. And my question is, why buy your next Kia anywhere else?
It's
It's always so good to have Winston Brooks on our program. And Winston, I know you're just loaded with stuff, but I want to say thank you for the art festival.
Well, thank you,
It
Peggy.
was a booming success, wasn't it?
Oh, man, we had a great time down there. Great artists and craftsmen. I mean, just so many talented people from all over the region.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh, and we had a huge crowd, and people were buying the art and eating the food.
And I expect we're going to do it again.
And we're going to do it again. It's going to be bigger and better.
Do you have the date yet?
Well, if we go by tradition, we're going to do the same Memorial Day.
Weekend, yeah.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
Everyone was pleased with that. It's a little bit awkward for some people who travel on that time, but you know, so many people come together during the graduation, and they're here during
I think it's
the
a great
weekend.
time.
We had a huge crowd. You know, well over 1,000 people came out.
And great weather.
And the weather held. It was a real miracle. Rain all around us. One time, one of the volunteers came in and said, "I just came from the other side of town, and there's standing water from the rain."
I know. And out at my house on Saturday, there was a huge rain, and I heard that it just kind of passed over. So I thought it was wonderful, and everybody that was involved needs to be congratulated.
You know, we had the best of show was the gentleman named Howard Thompson, longtime photographer and jeweler in town.
Great.
So
he's a really talented man.
He's a very talented, and he's very involved in crafts shows. So we're going to try and recruit him. He doesn't know this yet.
Oh, good.
Now, I've told him a little bit, but I'm really going to try to recruit him to come onto the team so he can help lead us into next year.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be losing some of our art council members. So there are some openings coming up on the art council. So if you're interested in getting involved and with the Arts Alive Tullahoma Arts Festival, give me a call. We need plenty of volunteers and some council members.
It appeared that you had plenty of volunteers. Did you feel like you did?
We did, yes, absolutely, but we always could use more.
And we appreciate the people that will volunteer.
So many things that have to be done because you really want the artists to have a good experience. So you need people to sit in the booths, you need people to work the gate, you need people helping with the reception, and so there's and plenty more other jobs.
It sort of identifies Tullahoma as a friendly place because everybody was smiling and being supportive.
That's right.
I think everybody felt at home there.
Yes, yeah.
The artists I talked to were real happy to be there.
Great, yeah, that's fantastic.
Well,
they really were.
Putting that aside,
we got some criticism too, which we'll take into account for next year's event. I mean, things like they felt like some of the booths were too close to the road. So we'll bring that back because we didn't have all the grass to work with because of the new repairs at South Jackson. South Jackson's looking great.
But wasn't that fabulous?
Wasn't that fun?
To look up at the parking lot and all the lights and all the way it's going to be when you come back next year will be even better.
That's right, and the parking lot was full the entire time. People just trickling in.
So is it time to talk about the 4th of July?
Well, so we've got a great celebration coming up July 3rd in Tullahoma is when we shoot the fireworks, and it's called the Tullahoma Independence Day Regional Celebration, and it's going to be bigger and better than it was last year.
It's still at the airport?
No, ma'am.
Oh, where
Grider
is it?
Stadium.
Oh, it's going to be back at the stadium.
Back at Grider Stadium.
All right.
That's
I think a lot of people love that.
Yes. So at the stadium, it has turned into an outdoor stage, and so we have vendors lined up along the baseline, and there'll be cold beverages to enjoy, all kinds of different food. We've got, and the band is set up, the stage is set up in center field, and this year's bands, we've got a great lineup. We've got a band called Six Wire, which is sort of the Predators' home band coming down from Nashville.
Fun.
We've got Vinyl Radio, which is a repeat from last year, and they do 70s music. Another great Nashville musician. And then we've got a gentleman who helped us at the Art Fest named Chase Clanton and the Vintage
Vibes. We know Mr. Chase Clanton.
Oh man, what a great guitar player.
Isn't he talented?
Yes.
I mean, B.B. King can just scoot over. He's a real talented young man.
I want to encourage people to come out and bring their lawn chairs and find a position on the baseball field because the best seating is down as close as you can get because the fireworks that we do, it's the largest fireworks show in southern Middle Tennessee.
I know,
but
it's amazing.
It also has a lot of close-up fireworks. And so if you're not down close up, you miss a lot of the low
some of that.
fireworks. And then this year we're adding 8-inch shells. So they're going to go really high and hopefully they won't break too many windows.
What time does it all begin?
All
what time are you
begins
letting people in?
July 3rd at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
And we're going to have the kids zone again, the petting zoo. We'll have vendors out in the park.
What could be better than a petting zoo?
Man.
I suppose there's a few goats.
We have.
What all do you have?
They have goats, and they have turtles, and they have camels, they have ponies.
Camels.
Rabbits.
That's wonderful.
Porcupines.
porcupines.
Watch out.
I love it. I love it.
But it's going to be a great time, and we want to encourage everyone to come out. It's a free event. We are looking for sponsors and vendors, and so they can contact me down at City Hall, 455-2648.
2648. Call and
2648 anytime.
Yeah.
Get signed up, and don't miss the event. But we are rolling into the holiday period on July 4th pretty soon, and we do want to put out a reminder that if you choose to go purchase fireworks and shoot them, there are times to shoot them and there are times not to shoot them.
I think that's probably important
Yes.
to talk about. So, do you have that in your head? Do you
I do.
want to issue that right now?
I do want to.
Okay, let's talk about it.
It's a lot of fun to go out and shoot fireworks.
Sure.
But there are a lot of people that it really
Could be
disturbs.
dangerous,
Yes.
yeah.
Animals, vets, just people who don't like the disturbing of the peace. So what we want to do is we want to concentrate those times. July 1st to July 3rd, you can fire those up until 10:30.
Okay.
And
that
then,
seems fair.
But on July 4th, it's extended to 11:30. After that, you need to put the fireworks away.
And clean up the debris.
Because if somebody, yes, clean up, don't litter.
Exactly. We want to make
Keep
sure we clean
Tullahoma
up.
clean. But once you're outside of those times, then if someone calls and complains, the police department may pay you a little
They
visit.
might pay you a little visit. So it'd be, I suppose this will be in the paper too, but these times,
Yes.
it's important, I think, to follow the rules.
Right, our city administrator, when I told him I was coming down here, he said, please mention.
Please, yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the most important things, because also people have to be careful when they're dealing with fireworks. And I know when you all do the fireworks show, you have professionals.
That's
what
right.
are they called?
Pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics that are there, and they know what they're doing. And I wanted to ask this: is it rain or shine?
The event is rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
Last year we
so-
had rain right up until the event.
and then the miracle happened.
And then it stopped raining, people came out, but people even came out during the rain.
Yeah.
So it was a great event. So this year, based on the odds, it
just
won't
gonna-
rain, and so please come on out and have a great time. Like I said, we got great music, great food. And one thing too is after the fireworks, the music will continue until 11 p.m.
Oh, good.
So if you want to,
So do you have what band is first?
the first band is going to be Chase Clanton and the Vintage Vibes.
And will they start at 3 or later?
They'll start at 3.
They'll start at 3.
Yeah, and then Vinyl Radio will follow, and then after the fireworks, it will be 6 Wire.
So you've got a real good show planned.
Oh man, it's going to be
That's
fantastic.
a lot of expense, and I think that the community, the region, everybody within our reaching
Well,
out.
it's a regional celebration. We want to invite everyone to come out.
It's a regional celebration, so we want everybody here.
That's right. And we want to thank our sponsors.
We had last time.
How many people attended?
Yeah.
Well, the numbers were down a little bit. It was somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000.
Which is not bad.
But usually the first year it was a little higher than
Yeah.
that. It was closer to 6 because we had
I
the
kind of
entire.
have a feeling that this year it's going to just
Yep.
be really, really big, and I appreciate all the hard work that goes into it. Are y'all still looking for volunteers for that?
We do need volunteers for that as well. Please
Because
come out
they're
again.
selling stuff everywhere and
That's right.
pick
Well,
up and clean up.
Right. We just need people to come down and, again, help with our vendors and also host the visitors that come in, let
Sure.
them know where to go and best places to sit. And again, I do want to encourage people to come down to the baseball field. A lot of people go and sit in the football stadium.
Yeah.
But you really miss out a lot. And
The
the
baseball
football
field,
field is,
yeah.
I mean, the baseball field is really large and you can get a lot of people in there. And there's plenty of room to throw down chairs and blankets. And then there's also the room in the stands too, but that fills up pretty fast.
I always think just take along a little garbage bag to pick up your trash around you as you leave so it all stays beautiful.
Yes.
Because I know the cleanup is probably one of the big issues.
We do spend a lot of time on that cleanup, but we make sure we have the garbage cans placed properly.
And so we encourage everybody to invite your friends and relatives from all over to come in and enjoy
out.
this fabulous July 3rd.
Independence Day regional celebration.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Weston, you do such good
Thanks,
things.
Peggy. I appreciate
We'll be
it.
back.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Dispatch, we have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, folks, for the past, ever since it started, we've had a crew over at Bonnaroo, and supposedly over there taking film and for us to use here. And sometimes we see some and sometimes we don't, but most of the time we do. And it's a good thing for our crew to go over there and spend some time away from us and have some fun and listen to some great music and document the Bonnaroovian experience. So what we're going to do right now is give you a compilation of some things that have happened over there throughout the years that Phillips and Andrew have put together. And so we're going to take you to Bonnaroo right now.
time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Yes, another low coup for you. An open tent is nice in the backyard at night, with twinkle lights strung here and there. But nothing compares to nature's light show as her squadron's butts glow in the air. Fireflies. Isn't that great? Nothing like the glow of a firefly serenade. Hey, the Yellow Porch, a great place on Thompson Lane in Nashville. 20 years ago, they've been open 20 years, and about that time, that's when Philip Scoggins was still up there producing music out in that area, Berry Hill area, where a lot of studios are, and I did some work out there as well, and a lot of us would go to the Yellow Porch to eat. For two reasons: it was close, it was cool, and you never knew who you were going to see there, but the food was exceptional. Always exceptional. So for a doctor's appointment, my friend and I were up for a doctor's appointment recently, and we had something to do in the morning, something to do in the afternoon, so we were looking for somewhere to go eat, and I said, let's go to the Yellow Porch. Went back in there and reacquainted myself not only with Katie Nelson, the manager, but the great food that was there, the great service that was there. And so she has agreed to be on our Tennessee Traveler Show. Now, you say, well, that's in Nashville. Why would I want to take a $25 coupon that I'm only paying $12 for and go to Nashville? Well, because you go anyway from time to time, and when you have a doctor's appointment, it ain't no fun. I don't care what you're doing. It's no fun. So you reward yourself by having something nice to eat while you're up in the area, and the Yellow Porch is a place you can do it with a Tennessee Traveler coupon. So what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about the Yellow Porch. Here's their commercial that we run on Tennessee Traveler. Go online to theyellowporch.com and look at their menu and some of the pictures in their online gallery. The menu is absolutely phenomenal. Crab and shrimp stuffed baked trout. Sounds good to me. The Yellow Porch. Looking for that special iconic place to dine? You need some porch time. Join me in the Berry Hill area of Thompson Lane at the Yellow Porch, where Katie and her professional staff have served some of Nashville's favorite food for the last 20 years. With linen on the table and linen in your lap, you can open with sharp cheddar fritters, crab cakes, shrimp and pork dumplings, smoked salmon flatbread, Prince Edward Island mussels, and more. Entrees include sorghum-infused duck breast, wine braised short ribs, filet mignon, shrimp and crab stuffed trout, and fresh paella. These are a few of the favorites. Then end your experience with a dessert choice such as bananas Foster, creme brulee, or tiramisu, just to name a few. The lunch menu includes soups, salads, pastas, burgers, and unique sandwiches, all at an affordable price. So when you need to take a break from the hustle and bustle, spend some time on the porch. You won't regret it. The Yellow Porch, 734 Thompson Lane, Nashville.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Good morning, all you wonderful viewers in TV land. And thank you, camera gentlemen, for putting a good, sharp, clear, colorful, contrasted picture on the screen. We're going to continue our little trip down memory lane now for you viewers, and we've had a number of people say, hey, I remember that, and that was so-and-so, and now it's really changed. That is the location of buildings and stores and places downtown and other places too. But we're still on kind of the downtown circuit. We're a block from downtown, and recently we gave a story on the 100 block of North Jackson Street on both sides, and we thought we would continue that just a little bit and give you some information on the 200 block of North Jackson Street. Before that, though, the corner of Grundy and North Jackson is the Tullahoma Municipal Building, better known, of course, as the City Hall. And behind it was the first Tullahoma Public Works lot. They had one dump truck and one big pile of gravel there on the west side of the alley behind the City Hall, and there was a residence there. I think Mr. and Miss Grammer lived in that residence, and it was later raised, and the Public Works Department was moved down to the South Jackson near the Maplewood Cemetery. And anyway, on the building behind the City Hall on West Grundy Street is the USO building. And it was built during World War II and at the beginning of Camp Forest, and it was attended by thousands and thousands of soldiers that came for meals and to read and to write letters and see performances. most of the outfits at Camp Forest had an orchestra or a band there, and they performed almost weekly. And the ladies from Manchester and Winchester and Tullahoma, young ladies came to be part of a dance that they really enjoyed and did well. They had the beautiful music and all the popular tunes of the 40s that were just so enjoyable. And they had a fountain for refreshments, and ladies brought cookies and things for them. It was a great place to be. And that building was vacated, of course, after the war. And by the way, it was the Protestant USO building, and the Catholic USO building was at the corner of Clement Drive and South Jackson, where the present school administration building is. And it burned in 1949. But anyway, the USO building on West Grundy Street was later bought by a church, and to my knowledge, they have services there regularly. Now, at the other corner of West Lincoln, and not West Lincoln, but West Grundy Street and North Jackson Street was a big two-story residence. I think it was occupied or owned by the Adelot family, and I guess it was Doak Adelot that was quite a newspaper man and historian, and he was probably mayor or alderman at one time. Very popular fellow, and they needed to make room for another building, so they jacked up his big, huge residence and moved it over one lot so that they would have room. And in the middle 30s, the Pan Am service station was built there on the corner. And just recently, it has been raised and moved from that corner, and that corner now is to be used for a parking lot for the city hall. And 2 lots are totally vacant and are used for parking. Now, the 3rd lot is a restaurant. It was a residence, and it was occupied by Dr. L.E. Taylor and Mrs. Taylor, and was there for many, many years, and has stayed there and remained there. And Butler's Pantry has opened their eating establishment there several months ago. And the other side of that lot was the used to be a big, large vacant lot that was used for the Chautauqua out of Chautauqua, New York. It came once every summer for a couple of weeks, and they had stage shows and productions there at the Chautauqua. Later, it was occupied and built by the Chappard's Chevrolet Garage, and it was a very, very important part of Tullahoma at that time. And the Chevrolet place moved way out on North Jackson, and it was occupied by Mr. Roper. They had a bicycle shop there, and currently has lawnmower and power tools on that particular lot that is at the corner of Moore and North Jackson Street. Now, quickly on the other side of the street, at West Grundy and North Jackson, the First Christian Church was built in 1876 on that particular corner. And on down the North Jackson Street was a residence of Dr. Boyd had a residence there, and the telephone company bought that property and built a new modern telephone exchange. And I have a picture someplace of about 8 or 10 of the switchboard operators there at the telephone exchange, and it was built because of the tremendous amount of messages that came in for the people at Camp Forest. And of course, Camp Forest had an exchange out there from 1941 to 1946. On the other side of the telephone building was the Vandegrift home, a two-story wooden structure, and then on the corner was the Schultz residence. And later, the other group of people down North Jackson Street. Now, one real important place was the big two-story brick home with an iron fence around it at the corner of Grizzard and North Jackson Street was the Ewing Davis home. And it was a beautiful structure. When it became available, the Travelers Aid and the, I believe the American Legion bought that home and used it for a while till they built their current place out on North Washington Street. But that was a very historic home there. The Davises had always been prominent people in Tullahoma, and I know Mr. Ewing Davis at one time was president of the International Red Cross. Also, he was ambassador at large with his office being there in Washington, D.C. And that home was very, very beautiful, and it was raised, and it is currently occupied by attorneys' offices there. Now, on down the street from there was the Dr. Ray had a home there. He practiced, I think, in his home, and another structure there was a two-story structure that was Mr. H.L. Noblett's home, or rather Mr. John Noblett's home, and it was an important part there. And we want you to remember, this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come. We thank you for watching, and we hope that you have a real, real good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the Paint Works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them, and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paint Works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Ikonen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paint Works today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paint Works. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hello, I'm John Rickman, and this is
Pat Welch, and we're bringing you the 16th edition of the Conversations with John and Pat, and it's been a pleasure, John. What have we got today?
Well, we got a song about a lady who used to preach over the city, through the city, in her car. She had a microphone and speakers mounted on her car. Her name was Sister Jessie Lee, and this is a little song about...
speakers and volume, depending on how bad you need to repent.
Exactly.
You might turn that thing up a little bit louder.
My troubled life had hit rock bottom, sin had scarred my soul. Though I wanted to do right, I couldn't gain control. At every corner stood old Satan teasing, tempting me. Then I met my Savior and Sister Jessie Lee. Through the streets of the city, Sister Jessie would ride, shouting praise God, hallelujah. All day long she cried. Turn from your wicked ways, repent, Jesus will set you free. I never will forget the words of Sister Jessie Lee. With speakers mounted on her car, she spread the gospel word. With her microphone turned up on high, even non-believers heard. Jesus is coming back again to take his children home. With faith and holy water, he'll claim you for his own. Dressed in a long and flowing gown that only saints would wear. The years showed in her old brown face and in her snow white hair. She's gone from us, yet she still lives within my memory. Thanks God for sending your sweet love and Sister Jessie Lee. Through the streets of the city, Sister Jessie would ride, shouting praise God, hallelujah. All day long she cried. Turn from your wicked ways, repent, Jesus will set you free. I never will forget the words of Sister Jessie Lee.
Wasn't that wonderful?
That's a dear song and a dear lady.
Right. And did you mention Mr. Berry?
John Berry, who passed away some number of years ago, he wanted those words and he liked the message.
I believe, John, it was the preacher at the Church of Christ on South Jackson for many years, and he was a county commissioner, and he was a good man.
Good man.
Yeah. Well, John, that could take us into another, might bring up another story about an African American that was awfully important to Tullahoma before even Sister Jessie. And that was John Wesley Work. And I somehow got interested in this about a decade ago, and Miss Peggy Northcutt, who's got a lot of historical facts of the South Side or the African American area and town, and also she's a historian of Davidson Academy, the black school that would have started in the early 1900s, and she really kind of encouraged me to keep looking, and I had a really good time visiting with her. But John Wesley Work was educated at Harvard, and if we got that is the picture of the third right there, and Junior, who is I'm talking about right now, he's born in I believe 1870s, and was educated at Harvard, and came to Tennessee being connected, and I think was in charge of the Fisk Jubilee Singers, who were internationally known. And he, at some point, when he first got out of Harvard, before he went to Fisk, he came to Tullahoma to teach at the school for black children, and would have had, at that time, a son was born. Now, Philip, put that picture back up there. This is Junior's son, who was John Wesley Wirt III. And he also, they went back, of course, I said he worked at Fisk in the Jubilee Singers, and John III was educated at Fisk, and then he did some work in, I believe, at Yale and Columbia. I believe he had some extra graduate work, but both of them were astute academic students, probably on a little higher level than you and I, John. But sad to say that we were not as great as we should have been probably at times. Yeah, but the song, the Christmas Carol, "Go Tell It on the Mountain," some people think that John Jr. wrote that song, and there's a real good chance that while he was living in Tullahoma when John III was born, that he wrote it in Tullahoma. Now that's, when you look it up, you can see there's a whole lot of people that dispute that, or nobody really knows for sure. But that's at
After
least
you told me about this, I did look on the internet, and it gives him credit.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing, that you're given the credit.
And I checked my church hymnal Sunday, and it was John
I'd say
W.
that's accurate.
Work. Now, for sure, part of the Third's work while he was at Fisk, he went ahead and was the first to arrange and compose and write that song, and he came out with the first, I believe, book of old African American spiritual and hymns, and so at the very least, Tullahoma gets credit for being the birthplace of the Third and employer of Junior, and there's a real good, like I say, that chance that the song was written in Tullahoma, but for sure it was arranged and composed and printed and published by a gentleman that was born in Tullahoma.
You know, we had a little conversation not long ago about people who've made musicians, who are good musicians.
Uh-huh.
And one, J.T. Northcutt, good friend of ours. And
Right.
then, of course, Mike Haynes, who played in Max Weaver's band here. It went on to be a studio musician in Nashville. He was a student over at East years ago. I go back to my Chapel Hill days, and of course, our great hero is Grady Martin, who played
I didn't know
all
he was...
the little Spanish picking in El Paso and Pretty Woman and all that sort of thing. He was a great
Maybe
musician.
not going back as far, John, but a graduate of the 72 class, which is my class, was Billy Earhart, and he played with Amazing Rhythm Aces, which is a nationally known band at the time, and also I think now he still works with Hank Williams Jr. as a keyboard musician. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It's good talking about the people of Tullahoma and one person there in Chapel Hill that we mentioned. But
Snuck him in.
Snuck him in.
That's right.
But that's it for this time, Pat.
Well, John, that does it for the 16th edition, but it's not the end of our conversations. There's more to be told. Thank you.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All we can
time to
say
say
is goodbye. Goodbye. See you next time.